Welcome.
Thanks.
Are you doing good?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I will soon cool down, but I really have to set some rules here. You know, a fireside chat, that's not about sitting in a cozy sofa on a fireside and having nice discussion. I want some fire up here and some energy. Are you up for that?
Absolutely.
I have promised them that it's actually not about me leading this conversation. You can discuss, you can argue, and I want you to go deep. Okay?
Deal.
How deep?
Deep, as deep as you want.
So we
But
should
I
forget
will-
everything out there?
No, you can have them there. It's okay. So let's start with you, Niklas. Ålö.
Yes.
And the new technologies for the future. What do you see opportunities for the future?
I'm just thinking about the cable I connected to my head. I think that was very good because someone else can control me. But tonight I will control myself. Of course, I see a lot of opportunities, even if Conny was a little bit scary in the end. But for us, with our products, I think we are just in the start. With the new technology, I think we are able to change what we're doing in terms of our products. It will drive new business models for sure. And another thing is also to change the whole customer journey to make it more automatic, make it more simple for the customer. Might be that we change the definition of the customer, which I'm pretty sure.
And your customer right now is?
That's a good question, because this is a big topic within the company. Is that the dealer or is it the farmer?
Yeah.
Or is it a fully autonomous organization that buys from you?
Could be.
Yeah.
Huh? Yes, maybe. But the third thing, and I think that is important for us here in Umeå, I think it will give us a possibility to stay in Umeå.
Yeah.
How we can actually improve the efficiency in our factory and in our office here and make sure that we stay in Umeå for the future.
And I have to just brief you that this afternoon we had a workshop with Ålö and Komatstu. We also had Ignite Sweden, Automation Region. We had RISE, Conny was there, and Skogstekniska Klustret, and a lot of smart people in the same room discussing the future. You know that we have two amazing factories here, Ålö and Komatstu, but they have to be really smart and sustainable to be able to stay in Umeå. So of course there are opportunities, but there are also challenges. And if we see Umeå, Sandor, what do you say? Do we have any possibilities to stay here? And what?
Absolutely, and it's not just to stay here, but also I think Umeå is such a very interesting ecosystem to really be an outlier and the front runner for the future. You shouldn't underestimate your strength when it comes to that you have one of the best design school here. You've got great universities with the different science fields and also computer science. WASP is quite big here. You've got a research institute here. You've got world-class industries. And then you have a public sector which is super innovative. So this gives you all the ingredients to really create an ecosystem for digitalization's adoption of AI. Because it's very important that AI, for example, it's if you don't have a context, you don't have use cases, pain points, it goes back to where it was in the computer science departments. But now we really have to think about the adoption and how the companies are going to use it. So it's very important that you create this and you understand that for the different parts of society, where the needs are, and then you really start to experiment and go there. And I think Umeå, as a community here, it's a great thing to have it, everything in one place, one-stop shop.
One-stop shop.
You can. It's really just to start it, just do it. It's just like Nike, you know.
Yeah, just do it.
Exactly.
I agree, totally. But Conny, your key takeaways from the afternoon. What is your thoughts? What did you see? Opportunities and challenges, maybe.
Well, yeah. Going back to my last answer, the problem is not technology. There are a lot of solutions out there today. It's back to kind of the companies, their drivers, the organization, what is the culture, what is the mindset. Looking at research, there was a report that came out, I think, a couple of months ago that looked at data-driven organizations, and it was 80% said it was all about the processes and people and culture. It's not about technology. So, and it's really the same story with any change. It's nothing different with AI or any of the other cool stuff that we're talking about. It comes down to people.
It comes down to the people. So what do you say, Martin? Are you ready? Are the people ready at Komatsu for your new factory? Because you have a lot of new things going on.
If
are you
people
ready?
are ready for change, I think they are ready for change, but not for this kind of change. This is something they don't know. They don't have the knowledge. They can't touch it. They can't feel it. And how can they sense the facts that is provided? Yeah. So to get that understanding and get that culture and get that, how to say, the business understanding, how can we do this further on? That is a challenge.
I think we have to be super proactive, and then it's not just about how we bring the technology into the organizations and how we augment the technology with the people, but also how we augment the people with the technology. So it's a very important journey, a conscious journey, that how you really tell the stories, how you really bring up and make them understand that what they can do and they cannot do with this, and then how they will live together. It's fundamentally changing the purpose of a person or humanity.
What is your view to drive that kind of change? I mean, is that I am as a CEO tell them, okay, this is the way going forward, or?
Oh, it's a very tricky question.
I think we all need to be much better storytellers. Because it's like you said, people are ready for change as long as they can decide what the change is. Nobody wants to have change forced upon them, because then you introduce uncertainty and all of that. So you need to be a better storyteller to, this is the future, this is where we're going, this is why we're going there, this is why you should care about why we're going there. And if you're not into this story, then maybe this is not the place. I think we need to be pretty frank with people, but if we can't communicate and explain why we're doing these things, then we're
I mean, Conny, you have met a lot of industries, not just in Sweden. What is your experience in kind of maturity in this kind of topic?
When we have something, I have something I call the wheel of change. I talk about 4 capabilities. You need to be good at the digital maturity. A lot of companies are there already. Innovation, some are there, some are not there, but that's no problem. Agile leadership, somehow there. At least people understand that. But then there's another capability called transformation. And no company is good at transformation because we're not used to practice that. Yeah. We're used to we have one business model, we have one way we built the company, and we're pretty comfortable with doing that. Transformation is about people, culture, processes, and all that. And so we need to practice. And I don't see any companies that are particularly good at it. I don't have any real silver bullet answer to that either.
On the note of the storytelling, so it's very important that it's not top down. No. It's just not going to happen that the board or you are going to tell that this is the way we're going to do, and then you just do it. That's not going to happen.
Magic wand.
Exactly. So I think you really have to have bottom up and top down at the same time, because if the board and the C-level is decoupled, then it's going to die out anyway. So you really have to balance very nicely to have those agents. And you have to create something that is based on trust, transparency, and partnership. You have to have internal partnership with your people, because these narratives and stories will come from anyone who feel that word you have to change. The other thing is that I certainly believe that autonomous distributed organizations will be the future. And the reason is that they are the most adaptable ones. Yep. So if you try to create that, either as a second culture or a second operating system, complementing what you have today, then you have a chance that you create something that is very adaptable. Because we don't know how the future will look like. We don't know how your business models, organizations, or how AI is going to be augmented to your business. So you have to prepare the organization, you have to prepare the people to have that. And again, autonomous distributed organizations will be the most adaptable ones.
So we need to go to our people and say to them that we need to change, but we don't know to what. And we can't say when, we can't say how it will be done. It will be changed, but how do we do it? Yeah, okay, we create a group that do this, but what is the target for that?
So I think we're going back to really, really basic. We really have to work hard to get back creativity and experimentation. And when we kill that, with this previous previous industrial revolution, we really killed that. Mass production, everybody had the range. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to, experiment. We will tell you, this is the factory floor, or this is the software development. Everything was very nicely done. We have to get out that. Consciously, we have to get out of that. It's not one company's problem. This is the ecosystem is so important.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important to listen to designers. This is so important to listen to artists. So they really can learn back this when we were kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, before we get into the school, when it's absolutely clear the creativity in us, how we can get back. And then how we ensure that the kids who are at school now, they will really become, and then we can have that the creativity.
But and that is a challenge, because normally within the industry you're looking for standardization. I mean, the standardization is the wording to make a successful company within the industry. At the same time, it says, okay, you need to let the people to make more experiments.
Correct.
And you need to let them make failures.
Correct.
And how many failures? It's not cost money.
So
then I get worried.
I totally. And so So what is a fail? Is that right? What fail stands for? For me, fail is first attempt in learning.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's very important. So this is the the mindset.
Yeah.
First attempt in learning. That's a fail. I used to say that. I also said that. Okay, so I move fast and then, or do fast and fail fast. But now I say that do fast and pivot faster.
Yeah.
So change. It's very important to change. It's very important that you have this. And why is it important? I mean, we talked today about that, how much you problem or kind of challenge you have that personalization, that your product has to be personalized. This will be the norm. Atypical will be the norm in the age of AI. That's very clear. Localization, regionalization, and personalization will be there. So you really have to know how you adapt to this.
Yeah, and the trick there is because you're used to when you fail, it will cost a lot of money, and you're like, yeah, the board will not be happy about that. The trick there is to make failure not cost so much, and with new technology, you can do a lot of things. And as I said, if you have at least a reasonable digital twin of your company, you can do a lot of what if and simulations on that digital twin. It will just cost you man hours and some compute power. But I want to another thing when we talk about how do you change. A common way of that a lot of companies do. They sit down with all their smartest people and they think and then they plan and then they like. Then nothing happens. So thinking, planning, and you when you walk, you take the first step. We try to because. Organizations get stuck in that mode, thinking, planning, and then they don't take the first step. So we're trying to reframe that and say, look at it, seeing, feeling, and then transforming. And it feels a little bit abstract and kind of, what? Seeing, feeling? So try to write down how should our customers feel or what should they see when this change has happened. Because for people to see something, for people to feel something and see, something physically have to have happened in the world. So if you look at how people should kind of experience the world, and it could be your employees, it could be your customers, then start with that instead, and then go backwards and say, okay, so what do we need to do? A typical thing could be, we want our employees to see a dashboard or see and understand the results of our company. How do we do that? Well, we can build a dashboard that everybody sees when they get into the office in the morning. That's something that is very concrete. But then they see and understand and transparent. So, because if you just thinking and planning.
I have to break in here. I knew that this was going to happen, so I told them you could have the stage for yourself. But still, I hear some things here. For the startups, we have a lot of startups here. They do exactly this. They go out to meet the customer. So my first question was, who is the customer? And who is the customer in the future? Yeah. And the startups go out there and ask the questions. They feel it. They go out, build, measure, learn, and go back. Pivot over and over again. That's how they work. So how can you get that mindset into your big organizations? Could you collaborate with startups? How could you do that?
I mean, I think, listen to Conny and everything, I think we need to review our view of the organization. I mean, we are very much in silos in the line organization. We pass things through. I don't think that will work in the future. It needs to be more in a collaboration.
Yeah.
Even if we can't bring 500 people in the same room, but I think we need to have these cross-functional teams that consists of sales, the R&D, and everything in one room and really work together. And then I agree to make it in small steps.
Yeah.
And even if that team needs to go out and meet customers, could also be an option. But this traditional way, which we do in the industry, I don't think that will work for the future.
I think you're onto something there.
And there are very interesting examples like Piaggio. Piaggio did a company, Piaggio Forward, not in Pontedera in Tuscany, but where? In Boston.
Yeah.
10,000 kilometers away from the headquarters. Why? Because the head of innovation said that I don't want that the people will come up with another scooter. So they really had to come up with something else. And then they came up with an autonomous, small, little sphere, which is rolling beside you as a future of transportation for goods. They had one requirement. A box of wine should fit into this. That was the only requirement they had.
So, Martin, what about you, though? What about for you? The future sustainability is one of the key factors for your future factory. What do you see the challenges and collaboration you're up to?
I think just positive things. I think we have a lot of, as Sandor said, Umeå is an amazing town. We have a lot of collaboration. We have a lot of different, companies and persons that are really interested in these items. It's the right size. You can get network and connection for this. And I also see that, by what I hear from Conny here, that we need to learn also our personnel to really go out with them and message this. There is a new time. You need to understand it. You need to accomplish with this. So we start the culture and the values for this, so they can start that transformation journey in a good way also. So I think Umeå has an ecosystem that can be really providing this for the future. So we have a very good start from this, no doubt about that. And we are very pro for this. We would like to make the changes, but we need to bring everybody with us to really do this in a fast way.
So if we could summarize this afternoon's workshop, Niklas, do you have any key takeaways that you feel like this is something that I want to do tomorrow when I get back?
What I actually learned today, that I actually don't know anything about the future. That's a tricky thing.
We started big. That was the biggest. Are we going to eat? What are we going to eat in the future?
Yes. So the key takeaway, I mean, that is, it's going back to this. I mean, for me as a CEO within the company, it's more about how can we start this transformation. And it was good this bottom up. So I shouldn't point with my head, that's for sure. But I think also one other thing we learned today, that between Komatstu and Åle, we can probably find, and together with RISE, some small projects that we can work together with. Because we are not able to drive this by ourselves, and I don't think Komatsu can do it either. But to find this within Umeå and I mean the whole community, we have huge opportunities.
Yeah.
And maybe utilize a startup.
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. Yeah.
And we're happy to help out as well.
Sorry, Conny.
So it's. I mean, it's all about the people. We were discussing that, the individuals, the mindset, and it's also the culture in there. What do we need to do? Can you take some key takeaways, key actions, Sandor? What do you say?
Again, going back to our childhood and then just unleash the creative in ourselves and then trust that the unexpected and then the unknown is good for us. Just be there, just like a child.
And I mean, it's actually based on research. We get more happy if we have the creativity in our lives. So we should be. But maybe that's difficult if you haven't been doing that. So how would you, as leader how would you promote creativity?
I won't start promising anything tonight because I will have
It's on film.
But you got a point. I think we, as leader of a company, we need probably to let people to make these failures and also to be able to make the experiments, not so expensive, but make it in small portions. Another thing I think is important, it's speed. And I think we can learn a lot from the startups to really start to do things instead of making investigation, and no decision, and the normal Swedish way. So action.
Action. Do you have anything more to add, Martin?
I met a good guy that talked about operational excellence about companies and how you bring that up. And I think maybe this will be applied to this also, that you need to have the information for the management in general, so they get the picture of this. And then you need to, as Niklas said, find these small items and let them roll out and be open to really get the money to sponsor that in a good way also.
So we have an action going on the 19th of February. I'm absolutely sure that some of the startup will be matched with you. And I know Ignite and Stina will have some more. So are you up for that? Yeah, you sign up now. Good. So we have it on film. Good. So thank you so much for your discussion and your passion about these questions. And feel free to grab these later on in the mingle to discuss even more in depth. Thank you so much. Please give a big hand. Martin, Niklas, Sandor, and Conny.
Thank you.
High five.
Thank you.